Icons are great for conveying a message and create a memorable theme throughout the entire deck, without relying on more text. Fortunately, using icons has gotten a lot easier through functionality in PowerPoint that they've added in recent releases. It's now really easy to go in, create, scale, modify, and color match an icon in just seconds. In terms of selection, icons should be intuitive, which basically means they should clearly align with the concepts they represent. So using a caterpillar to represent customer loyalty may not be the best idea unless you take the time to connect the dots for the audience, which basically defeats the purpose of using an icon. Consistency is also a must, as you cannot shift your audience throughout the deck by using different icons. Imagine if the user interface on your phone used an envelope, then a mailbox, and then a stamp interchangeably to represent email. You get annoyed pretty quick. Try to use the same general style in your icons. The embedded options will all conform to the same style, but if you bring in from icons outside, from catalogs, and we'll give you access to some, there are many that utilize different variations, right? You can have some 3D, some 2D. You also want to make sure that sizing works well because it can play some visual tricks on you, because sometimes they can be aligned differently. A short, fat icon will sometimes look larger or smaller against a tall, thin one. And one that fills the space like a globe will scale differently than a toothbrush. A solution to this is to embed the icon in a background shape and make sure your shapes are all the same size. You can use the grouping icon, just as we showed earlier, to make it easier to manipulate. Let me show you a little bit about icons. So the first example we have here on the page goes to show the challenges you'll have with different style of icons. Again, I kept this black and white to really show you the difference in style. So this first uses a series of all sorts of different icons. Some of them are simple in 2D, others are 3D, some has shadows, some do not have shadows. It's a mess. It looks like something that a middle schooler may have thrown together for a middle school presentation. Example 2, all of the formatting is the same. The icons are the same style. They're embedded within circles, so they're all the same size. You've got consistency. It's much easier to see what's going on here and not be distracting like we saw in the prior slide. So let's talk about how to potentially build out an icon in PowerPoint. A couple of ways to do this. So you could go out to the web, grab an icon and paste it in, or if you want to do it the easy way, go use the icon functionality. So we're going to go in here and we're going to grab an icon. What do we want? Let's grab a stopwatch and a dog. Sorry, cat people. We'll throw those in here. And you can see, well, the stopwatch and the dog are a little bit different sizes. The same thing we talked about with the globe and the toothbrush. It's hard to see scale-wise, are they the same? Even though I just grabbed them and brought them in, see, PowerPoint thinks they're the same. Visually, it looks a little off. So this is where you can create a border around them that are all the exact same size. Now then, let's go create our circle. All right, let's make it a little bit bigger. We'll use a 1.3 by 1.3. We'll use our color palette of SMU red. We're going to bring our stopwatch in. Oh, where'd the stopwatch go? It's behind my circle. Why is that? Well, I created the stopwatch before I created the circle. So PowerPoint works in layers. We need to make sure that we bring that object forward because we want the stopwatch to sit on top of the circle. So in order to do that, I can go up to Arrange, Bring to Front. Now I've got my stopwatch. Let's make it white. So now I have a white stopwatch on a red background. I'll line it up, and then I'm going to bring the dog over and we'll do the same thing. I did copy shift, brought it over, duplicated it. I don't want the stopwatch, I'll kill it. I need to bring this forward so I can right click it as opposed to just going up to Arrange. I can right click it and bring to front, center it up, make it white. Now I have icons that are the same size because the circle is the same size. It flows a lot better visually. A couple other tricks you can do with icons here. Let's say you are wanting to, instead of representing a number, that you're wanting to use shapes to say, 85% of my customer base falls into this particular category. So I can go here, I can grab my shape, I'll bring it down here. I'm going to make a few of these. So we'll just throw these out here, make 10. Make 5, and then I'll take 5 more. We're going to use our copy function. Okay. We're going to use our align function and distribute horizontally. So I now have everything exactly spaced apart the way I want it. Shift it over just a touch here to the right. Now, if I want to say 85% of my population falls in this particular category, here's what I can do. I'll start here with the 80, and I'm going to make them a particular color. Let's say it's SMU blue. But I need that half a person. How do I make that? All right, easiest way to do it, go take another icon, lay it on top of what you want. Now you can go up and use the crop functionality, cut it in half. I now have half a person. So I've gone through now and represented 85% visually through the use of icons. Much cooler way to do it than just throwing a number on the page. Old cliche is a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's make sure they're good words. It's another area that is often done poorly, but is very easy to fix. Images should be purposeful in matching the story you're trying to tell and align with the overall design theme. First, make sure you find images that are high enough resolution not to appear pixelated on whatever size screen they're going to be displayed. In web searches, you can go out and filter on image size, and the larger the image, the more flexibility you'll have. The catch, though, is that big high-res images will grow the overall PowerPoint file size quickly if you're not careful. Fortunately, PowerPoint gives you the ability to adjust down the resolution and remove any crop areas once you get a picture set the way you like. Let me walk you through an example. So here we've brought in some pictures into the deck, right? We've gone out to the web, we brought them in, we cropped them, we got them the way that we wanted to be, and you can get your images set by setting the same height and width across the board. It makes it very easy to create consistent pictures and spread them throughout the page. But we want to make sure that our picture size is not too big. So what you do is you can go in, once you've got all your pictures the way you want, you can compress pictures, and you have the options here that you can check. Delete cropped area of pictures and apply only to this picture. So as long as you don't want to go back and undo the cropping, you can select this delete cropped areas. And if you want to cover everything that you've had in the deck, you can remove the check to apply only to this picture. Click OK, and now it's going to adjust down every picture that you have in the deck to be an appropriate level of resolution for a presentation, but not have massive file sizes. This is a great way to keep the overall size of your deck controllable, which is clutch if you have to email this out. A lot of email systems will limit you on file size. This keeps you from having that problem a lot of the time. Another pro tip on images is that you can go in and crop pictures to be a certain shape, just like you would a circle. So in this slide, you've got a picture that has been cropped down to a circle. The way you do that is you bring in your picture and you hold down crop, and instead of just hitting the button, you can hit the down arrow, crop to shape. So you can select any shape that you want and adjust the picture to fit in, just like you've seen here in this circle. Originally a square picture, cut it down to a circle, and it fits beautifully within a circle graphic. One important note on pictures: if there is any doubt whatsoever on whether a particular image might offend, confuse, or distract the audience, pick something else. If there's doubt, there is no doubt. Animation is one of the most understood and overused tools in presentation software. Some people use it to create a flashy, interesting, or funny deck. They use flying text boxes, slides dissolving into one another during transition, bouncing circles, and spinning bullets. Few things will make you look more like an amateur and significantly undermine your credibility than overusing animation. However, animation can be extremely useful in pacing your story, emphasizing your points, and displaying complex concepts or processes that would otherwise be much more cumbersome. You can use animation to cause elements of the slide to appear and disappear in sync with your voiceover. If a slide is particularly context-rich, as we're going to see in some of the banking and consulting examples later in the course, it can allow the audience to digest one piece of information with each reveal and link it back to what they've already seen. For reveals and removal, I recommend just keeping it simple with appear and disappear, or fade with short delays and durations. It'll draw the audience's eyes to the slide as new items appear, allowing the presenter, if needed, to quickly glance at the slide for a cue. Now for some quick pro tips. Number 1, wait until you've completely finished designing a slide before you try and animate it. Otherwise, you will get tremendously frustrated. Number 2, when you copy an object from one slide to another, the animation goes with it. So if you animated an icon with a fade the first time you used it, and then you copy that icon to use it in later slides, the fade is going to happen every time unless you specifically go in and turn it off. Number 3, always, 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 always test the deck in presentation mode before you present so you can see the impact of any animation. Let's close this session by talking about multimedia like audio and video in business presentation. Unless you really need it, and I mean really, really need it, avoid it. Doing so adds a whole other layer of complexity and introduces much higher odds of something going wrong during your delivery, such as the audio not working, you're unable to load a video, you got a bad wireless connection, or maybe questionable ads that pop up in YouTube when you try and show a video. Audio and video can be very powerful to drive a story forward, but too much of it can lose the audience. I have seen countless companies kick off their recruiting information sessions with videos that range from a helicopter or drone shots of an amazing facility from the air to inspiring music or speeches from the CEO. They lasted 1 to 3 minutes. All right, that's okay. But a 10-minute video on the history of the company just put people to sleep. Final pro tip for this session: never, and I mean ever, add sound effects to your animation. It's cheesy, people will laugh at you. We've covered high-level design aesthetics today that can help support the delivery of your message instead of detracting from it. Primary takeaways are: tailor your design to your audience's needs and preferences. Details matter. A well-structured, clean, and consistent deck will lend credibility to your message, while a messy deck will detract from it. Consistency and simplicity in formatting allows the audience to focus more energy on the message versus being required to reframe every slide. That'll wrap us up for this lecture. We'll see you soon in class.